What do you call two spiders who just got married? You call them newlyweds. Today we're going to be making these awesome spiders. We're going to be hearing some more jokes like, what did the baby spider want to be when he grew up? A web designer. But even more importantly, we're going to be thinking about spiders and spider webs and the Bible. Did you know the Bible talks about spiders and spider webs, and it says something about the way we relate to God? So let's get into it. We're going to be having a lot of fun as we learn. So I was reading in the Bible this morning from the book of Job. Job's all about suffering, and maybe it's a good thing to reflect on in this time of lockdown where, well, we wonder, is God there? And maybe other people are saying, well, he's not, or he's letting down, or maybe we've done the wrong thing and God's punishing us. It's a good book to reflect on that. But in Job chapter 8, it talks about forgetting God and spider webs. Let's have a read. We're in Job chapter 8 and verse 13. It says, such is the destiny of all who forget God. The hope of the godless will perish. His source of confidence is fragile. What he trusts in is a spider's web. He leans on the web, but it doesn't stand firm. He grabs it, but it doesn't hold up. You hear what that's saying? That those who are trusting anything other than God, it's like they're trying to rely on a spider web. Spiders are great at making webs, and their webs can trap things like flies and other insects, and they can have a feast on them. But could it trap a human being? No, just get all annoying in your hair. Imagine if you were falling down a cliff or something and there was a few different things to reach out and grab hold of. There was a tree sticking out, there was a big rock there, and there was a spider web. Which one would you go for? Would you go for the spider web? No, because it's not going to hold you up. Spider webs are just not that strong, at least not strong enough to hold up a human being and to save your life. And what Job is saying is that those who forget about God and they just go about life and do their own thing, what they're really doing is it's like trusting that spider web, and it's not going to be able to save them or help them. And so it's a very foolish thing to do. So don't forget about God, or you'll be like one of those people that's trusting in spider webs to save your life. Very foolish thing to do. We're going to learn how to make some of these awesome spiders that you can have creeping around your house, and you'll be even able to hang them up or even put them on your... Well, to make one of these very awesome looking spiders, you only need a couple of things. You need some scissors and you need some foil from the kitchen. Foil here. But here we go. What you need to do is tear off very quickly a rectangle that's about 20 centimeters wide. You can use the device that's on there, or you could cut it with a pair of scissors. So there we go. That's about 20 centimeters of foil here. And we're going to be cutting that in half again. Half of that's going to be used to make the body, and half that's going to be used for the legs. The half that's going to be used for the legs, we're going to put that other piece aside now. What you're going to do is cut 5 strips, because you need antennas as well, out of it. 5 thin strips. 1. They don't even have to be particularly neat, but they do need to be about the same width. 4 and 5, and we've got a spare in case something goes wrong with one of them to use later. I'm just going to put that aside as well. Alright, so we've got our 5 pieces here. One looks a bit different to me than the others, so I'm going to use that one as the antenna a little bit later. So we're going to work, they all work exactly the same. What we're going to do is we're going to get each piece of this and we're going to start folding it in half, and then fold it again a bit, and then just grab in the middle and start twisting down towards one end. You don't want to rip it, you just want to twist it very gently like this. There you go. We're getting lots of twists in, and Then we'll come back up the other end to halfway where we started twisting, and we'll keep twisting it in the same direction all the way to the end of the piece of foil. And so we have a long twisted strip, and we're going to do the same thing now 5 times. We get our second one, going to sort of fold in half. So now we have our 5 twisted strips of aluminium foil. I accidentally ripped off one. That's not going to matter. It's a little bit shorter than the others. I'm going to use that one for the antenna later, which needs to be chopped more than the others anyway. But the others should be about the same length, and we can make them even later as well. Now we're going to put those to one side, and we're going to get our other rectangle of foil from the piece we cut off before. And with this one, we want to come about halfway along and make a little cut, and then turn it sideways and cut off a rectangle from that. Just like that. Just gotta nick that there. That's gone. Doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to make a little cut about halfway along, and then we're going to cut off a rectangle. None of these have to be exact. It'll all be okay because we're going to be scrunching it up in a minute, and it'll all work out. If it's a little bit dented or ripped, it doesn't matter. So we're going to be putting it aside. So we've got what looks like a T section of our thing. Now we're going to start folding this one in again as well, and rolling it up and sort of scrunching it up into the middle like this. Alright, and sort of press it flat. Now what we're going to do is get our 4 leg ones, which were the ones all the same length, and the end that was the thicker part of the T, and so it's going to be chunkier. We're going to be putting our 4 legs right in the middle, so they're sticking out each side, so it'll suddenly become 8 legs when we twist it into the spider's body. We need to move it across a little bit like that, make them look fairly even, and then we're going to get the back of the foil, and we're going to wrap it over those, pinching them together like that. We're going to try and just straighten them out so they're sitting flat in the middle there. But then what we're going to do is start rolling all 4 of them together into the center towards where the T shape was before. And then when we're right near it, we're going to do a fold that leaves a little bit sticking out the end like that. And now we're going to try and make it a bit more of a bulbous shape that a spider's body would look like, and we're going to pinch it at the bottom so the tail is pointy. So you can see that we're pinching it in, and that's going to be the back of the spider's body. Now we're going to do the antenna. We'll worry about the legs being looking good a little bit later, but we're going to get our other one, and we're going to do the same thing but from the thin side of the T. This is going to be antenna, so we're going to roll this over and roll it over and fold it over again and again and again. But when we get towards the middle, we're going to, for the last fold, not fold it exactly over itself, but create a little bit of distance like this so that we can pinch this together into more of a head shape like that. There you go. So now we have our folds with a thicker bit here and with pointy at the end, and with the head up here. And you could fold this up if it doesn't look quite right. But what we do is we're going to, hang on, let's just pinch that a little bit more to make it look a bit better at the front. There you go, of his face. Yeah, a little bit more rounded, and we could squeeze it in here just to separate it out from the body a little bit and make it look a bit more distinct, like a spider would. Right, so now we're going to make the antenna by bending these two forward like that. There you go, and we're going to snip them off. Snip and snip, try and snip them the same length so they look even. And then these bits can go in the rubbish bin a bit later on. And then we're going to start making the legs. For the legs of the spider, what you want to do is twist it up, and about 1/3 of the way along, put a bend in it. All right, like that. And then about another 1/3 of the way along, or maybe a little bit further, you want to just bend the foot out so that it looks like here there's an L shape and then another little L at the end. Okay, and we're going to be positioning this a little bit later on. We'll get the second leg and we'll do the same thing. 1/3 of the way along, pinch it. Then we're going to come down here and pinch it again. If one's sticking out a bit further than the others, that's okay. You can make it the same length and then just trim off the foot. And we can even it all up a little bit later on. So there's 2 done. Like that. Wow, so we're starting to look really good, aren't we? We've got our body shape, it's pinched at the back. We've got our head happening here, the antenna, and we've got 4 legs done. Now we just need to do the 4 on the other side. And the important thing is you want to make the matching ones quite even if they're slightly different lengths to the other ones going forward. You want to make it look balanced, and so we're going to go up here, try and make it look the same as the one on the other side. We're going to come down. This one seemed to have be very short on this side, so I'm going to be chopping off quite a little bit of that one there to try and make it look even. So our 2 back legs look very, very similar to each other. Really nice. And we finish it off. There we go, the last bit. Just fold that up, snip it off short, and there we go. We have an amazing spider. Now it's just a matter of positioning everything the way you like it so it looks very creepy and scary, and you've got one spider. Another thing you could do is, if you get some cotton, you could tie some cotton through the middle with a needle. Get your parents to help that because needles are very sharp, and have it string up like a web and hang it from your fan or light or a lamp, and it'd be very scary, or just dangle. Well, there you have it. An awesome spider to decorate for Halloween, or hang up around the house, or to scare someone. Very simple to make and really, really effective. Hope you have a lot of fun making it. But remember that those who forget about God, it's like they're relying on a spider web trying to trust it. Great if you're a spider trying to trap your dinner. Terrible if you're a human being and you're trying to trust your life on something that's just flaky and won't hold you up like a spider web. Maybe a little annoying. So don't forget about God. Trust in Him. He'll never let you down. Hey, what do spiders eat when they're in Paris? They eat French flies. And what do you call a spider with 20 eyes? You call it a spider. Catch you later.